Hey, everybody, this is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm scared.
Ah!
No, just kidding. I'm
We're, ge-
David.
we're getting closer to Halloween, so I'm sure that's why you are scared
Mm,
already. This is not one of our Halloween episodes. This is our updates episode for the week.
mm-hmm.
But we're going to be talking about our first, or not first, or it's the only, the only fan pick of the month
Yes.
later this week, which was 1 hour photo. So
Yeah.
subscribe to the YouTube channel or in your podcast app, whichever you prefer, to get that later this week. I don't know how well known or popular that movie is. Like, it's one of those Robin Williams
Mhm.
creepy ones. So if you haven't seen it, this is your chance to go watch it before we talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we're getting closer to the end of the month here, which means we're getting closer to Halloween. Do we want to say what we're going to do for our Halloween episode? We want to hold on. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't say that yet.
Yeah,
We
let's,
should.
let's
Well,
hold on.
that's the trick. We'll treat you at
That's
the
the
end
trick.
of the episode. Yeah.
We'll treat you at the end of the episode with what we're going to be doing. But we do have a fun surprise lined up to help get us into November, which is 1999 November.
Mhm.
That's the best hint you're going to get. But let's get to what we've been doing this week. We've been watching a lot of spooky season movies ourselves. David, you've got a couple on here. One is newer, and one is actually I want to hear. This is a sequel
Mhm.
to a movie we covered at least a few Halloweens ago, I think, or a
Yeah.
couple. You did. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
I did. I
What
watched
got you to do that?
boredom. I saw it on Peacock that they had I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. They also had I Know What You Did Last Summer. As you
Yeah.
mentioned, we watched I Know What You Did Last Summer for a couple. It was a couple of So Many Scares ago, and I don't think I'd ever seen I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, so I was like, well, let's give this a try, right? It probably won't be that scary because the first one's not really that scary I feel like by modern standards. And boy, what a bad movie! Like
Yeah.
what a ridiculous film. But it had me laughing a lot because one, it had Mekhi Phifer just
Oh.
playing very desperately horny man, and it had another guy who was sort of the one of the romantic interests for Jennifer Love Hewitt. It was like the most generic 2000s white guy. Like I was like, this is the kind you've never seen this man again. Jennifer Love Hewitt, can never say anything bad about her, and it had Brandy in it. Brandy is a throwback that I was not really expecting when the movie opened. The second I saw Brandy, I said, "Is that Brandy?" Um, had fun, and so it's very fun. It's very silly. I had no idea. Have you guys ever seen I Still Know What You Did Last Summer?
I don't think so. Because what? You know what? Maybe. Tell me
Mine
about it.
Minor spoiler, it's mostly set in the Caribbean. I had no idea they go to an island for the majority of that film. A very
Is
different setting.
is Jack Black in this too?
Jack Black is in it. Yes. Yes. Somehow Jack Black is the best and worst part of this movie because he's playing a like white
Yeah, he's
Rastafarian
got like.
poser.
I'm looking at the. Oh man, that's bad.
It's really funny, but also really tasteless. And so it's a very fun combo. It's right before he's uncredited. He's uncredited. It's kind of right
Wow.
before Jack Black really took off. Like it's at the precipice of Jack Black taking off. So yeah, it was not necessarily a great movie, but it was a fun movie, which lands it in my 1.5 range in terms of my letterbox score.
Excellent.
Oh, Josh, you're muted, pal.
Yeah, sorry, I caught that as soon as you said it. It's hard for me to picture what's really happening here. Is it really the same Hookman, but just like with palm trees?
Yes. Do you want me to? So I'll
Oh.
give you a little bit of a lead in. I'll give you a little bit of a lead in.
Does his suit change? Like
No,
he doesn't wear like a beach hat or anything?
no,
He
no. I know
should've.
what you're picturing. You're picturing Hook Hand with board shorts, and
Anything to fit the setting.
Yeah, because he
No.
would stand out like a sore thumb.
that's what you'd think. But so here's the thing:
It's
what's the main
raining.
character's name? Jennifer Love Hewitt
Doesn't matter.
and Brandy. They win a radio contest to go to the Bahamas, right?
No.
So they get
No,
to
they
go to
don't.
this. They get to go to this.
The 90s were crazy. You
They
could
get to
just
go-
win Bahamas tickets.
So they get to go to this island, right? And they take
Everyone was
Mekhi
happy.
Phifer and generic white guy. Freddie Prinze Jr. Jr. discovers that Hookman is still alive and after them. but he can't get to her in time. So she takes generic white boy to the Bahamas with them, right? When they get there, they find out that the reason these tickets were so easy to get is because it's hurricane season. So most of the staff is gone. There's only 9 people on the island.
That's messed up.
And one
Who
of them,
what kind of radio station is this?
you
That's
gotta,
wrong.
that's why you gotta watch the movie, man. I think you'll
That's
love
wrong.
I highly recommend, but do not endorse the film.
You
Wow.
say Peacock?
I think it's on Peacock.
Beautiful.
Okay, good.
I think
Noted,
you'll enjoy
noted.
yourself.
What you got?
I watched Abigail. That's a 2024 movie.
Oh, yeah.
Abigail,
Nice.
the movie about
Pretty
a
freaky.
young vampire
Better
who
be.
traps essentially the Suicide Squad or the Guardians of the Galaxy, however you want to look at it, traps them in her building. This is starring Dan Stevens and other people. And it
And
was
Abigail.
an Abigail. And you know what? I had a lot of fun. That was a
It's
fun
fun.
movie. This is
It's
the
a fun movie.
opposite. I still know what you did last summer. This was fun and actually pretty good. I was nervous because the trailer gives away the big twist, which is that this group has been hired to kidnap this little girl, and turns out she's a vampire. So they give that away in the trailer. So I thought to myself, there must be something else going on, because I kind of feel like the first 35 minutes of this movie hinges on this big reveal, right? And luckily there were some fun twists and turns along the way. They didn't blow it all at the beginning. So I had fun. Did you guys get to see this?
I
Yeah.
saw it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not my highest rated movie of the year, but I enjoy myself. It's a little bloodier than I normally go for,
Yeah.
but had some laughs, had some good scares, some fun. Oh gosh, excuse me, just burped. Had some fun action sequences.
Make yourself at home. Jeez.
Had a long day. I went to the zoo.
Yeah. We apologize to our listeners. Thank you.
Golly. All
Sorry.
right. Well, did Sinister scare you anymore, at least?
Sinister was, I'm just gonna say this, very good. I'm just gonna lead with that. Very good, very scary. Had one FU moment towards the very end. That was a big FU. But what I really liked about this, so I got to see Sinister about 4 years ago, but the sound was off. Nikki was watching it. I was working from home. Nikki was watching it with headphones on, so I only watched it visually. I didn't hear any of the audio, but I followed the story really well. And you wanna know why? Because of it, like, the blocking was really simple, and Ethan Hawke writes in the movie a lot. Like, he writes questions aloud, so I was following all of the plot points because he was like, "Person in video, symbol?" And I was like, so I was looking for all the things he was like, you know what I mean? So anyway,
Yeah.
very good movie. It's, Ethan Hawke pretty much carries the load, but he does a great job. Very cool idea, very interesting story. So I highly recommend it if you haven't seen Sinister.
I have not.
Sweet.
I do want to see it.
Garrett, what was on your spooky watch list this week?
You know, I went for some classics, if you will. I
Mhm.
started my deep dive with A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm.
You know what? I
That is a spooky classic.
I've loved that one for a long time, and Freddy is one of my favorite characters just because I like the idea of being able to get in your dreams and kind of shapeshift and do all the stuff that he eventually he became too much, obviously. You know, you have like 12 movies of one character doing the same kind of thing and just trying to up it each time. You know,
Mhm.
it becomes a character. So I revisited this for the first time, and it's pretty good. You can see the early stages of what Scream would be, right? Scream is so much better than this, but Wes Craven is just a good of these.
Right.
Contrast that with Friday the 13th, which is truly just a wannabe X-rated version of Michael Myers, having gone back and watched that. Both of these movies, again, I didn't love scary movies growing up, but I liked
Mhm.
these older ones because they weren't scary. They were kind of scary, but I could handle it because it was old, and I could feel
Mhm.
like I was like, oh, it's not as bad. So I
Mhm.
watched these when I was younger, and I liked them both. Friday the 13th has not aged as well. It really is just like trying to bank off of like Michael Myers and sex. That's just kind of what they do. And Kevin
Mhm.
Bacon, an early Kevin Bacon.
Good
There's
shit. Hey.
You can always make money off Kevin Bacon.
Mhm.
exactly. So I was really interested to see how well they held up. And A Nightmare on Elm Street was a lot better than I expected after it had become so cartoonish. So that
Yeah.
was a fun watch.
I think Elm Street was at least creative, like they at least got
Yes.
they had a lot of
I
fun
mean, yeah.
ideas.
It's
Yes,
an iconic villain.
absolutely. And then I also watched a couple of more modern ish time ones, I watched Drag Me to Hell, which is Sam
Mhm.
Raimi, and that is so much fun and
Yeah, that
creepy in the
movie's
right
crazy.
way. It escalates so well too, and there's a level of camp that
Mhm.
just intensifies, and it still holds up really well. So if you haven't seen that
Yeah.
one, I recommend that one.
I feel like that was sort of in between was that right after he had finished up Spider-Man? I feel like it was. I feel like it was like 2008, 2009.
It was somewhere
Yeah,
in
it's
there,
around
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
2010-ish, I think so, yes. And then Josh and I had a chance to go see a new movie in theaters, Smile 2, the sequel
Mm,
Smile
to
2.
last year's or a couple of years ago's Smile.
can't do it.
Yeah.
I it's better. Yeah, we all went and saw Smile. David, you, I think, did not love it in a sense that you felt really slow, and I would agree with you. I think this one, it learned, and it did a really good job of playing on what you expect from the last one, but
Mhm.
intensifying it, and then they worked in a lot of really good camera work where it would be the slow pans, and sometimes nothing would
Oh, I
happen,
remember that.
and then it would be, like, faster pans, but you never knew when something was going to happen, but you knew
Mm.
something was going to happen, and so they really did a good job of mixing in things and really elevating it, and then planning out some characters with some depth, and you really kinda got to know them in a way that I don't feel like you did in the last one, so I think this one's a really good sequel, and I think there's probably gonna be a third one, but man, there were some scenes in this one that were creepy. Josh, what'd you think?
Yes, yes, yes. I told you as we were walking in, I did not have high expectations for the movie and was shocked by the response coming out before it came out from critics and early screening audiences saying it was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Um, as of going in, the Rotten Tomato score was 5% higher for this one than the second one, and it was already in the 80s. So,
yeah.
I was from that perspective, I was blown away. It's not perfect by any means, but
Mm-mm.
when you see a kind of like weak-ish initial movie that has kind of like a promising premise but doesn't quite land it, I don't feel like it's common that they figure it out on the next one.
No, they usually
But I
lean into
think
the
this
wrong
one
things.
yes, but I think this one, like you said, it elevated it, and I think they do. It I was telling another friend about it, and I was like, "You know what? It honestly is like, what if Smile 1 didn't happen at all, and I just pretended this was the first one?" It would still work really well. Now the first one does still matter, it doesn't, like, erase it, I don't mean that, because it is definitely a sequel, and if you're wondering, "How do they do a sequel to that?" It actually makes a lot of sense when it's explained,
Yeah.
how they managed to do a sequel,
Mhm.
and I love what they do with the characters, and I love that they cast Naomi Scott in this, um, who Garrett leaned over, like, a third of the way through and went, "Is she in Power Rangers?"
She was. Yes, she was the big Power Ranger, the revitalized one, which is better than it should have been.
Yeah, she was. She is also Princess Jasmine in the live
Yeah,
action,
yeah,
Aladdin,
yeah.
The Power
yeah.
Rangers movie was better than the live action Aladdin movie was.
I agree
That's
that the
what I
Power
would
Rangers
get
movie
from them.
was criminally underrated, but I digress. She's great in it. She has, experience as a pop star, so she knows how to be a pop star on film. If you anyone out there also saw M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, there's a similar thing going on where it is also a horror movie about a pop star, but it's just his daughter, and she's not very good at it. Whereas Naomi is. So it just brings a lot more to the table. It's great. I recommend Smile 2 if you wanna get a nice scare. It's got great jump scares. Not
Yeah.
I don't think they're lame jump scares most
No.
of the time. They're good jump scares,
No,
Mhm,
they're good.
mhm.
which piss me off because they work every time.
Yes. A cheap jump scare really is just like, "Oh, let me wash my face. Oh, no, there's someone in the mirror." No, they think about these kind of scares, and this is a jump scare movie, so if you're a jump scare movie and you give me something that isn't somebody in behind me in a mirror, then you have done your job well.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And then, the other movie I saw in theaters this week, not a horror movie at all, nice palate cleanser maybe. I saw Saturday Night,
Mm,
the Saturday Night Live biopic, perhaps you could call it. I don't know. It's essentially about the 90 minutes before the series premiere of Saturday Night
Mhm.
Live back in
Historical
1970
fiction, if you will.
something 4. I don't know. 50
Yeah.
years ago. It's the 50th season of SNL.
wow.
So you've got young Lorne Michaels running around trying to wrangle Chevy Chase, Jim Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Jane Curtin, all these
Andy Kaufman.
now legends. Yeah. Then you got Billy Crystal hanging out in the background because he's just there to watch. Weird, crazy stuff, and you're like, how true could any of this be? I don't know how true a lot of it is. I'm sure much of it is true because I did see that it got the Dan Aykroyd seal of approval. He said he saw it and thought it was a masterpiece. I don't know if I'd call it a masterpiece, but it's very good and enjoyable. They do a great job playing these real life people who are honestly larger than life. So it could be easy to turn it into a lame impression. I don't think they did that. I think most of them did a great job. Some of them seem like they were born to play these people.
Mm.
And then there's a lot of there's funny moments, there's dramatic moments. I described it the other day, David. We talked about it at lunch, and I saw this online too, so I don't want to take credit for it. But it's kind of like the Muppet movie, where you got Lorne Michaels as Kermit trying to put a show on with a bunch of crazy people and shoestring and like luck, and there you go.
And a bunch of people wishing them ill.
And a bunch of people wishing,
Like-
hoping that it fails. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's some great, they're not they're more than cameos, but Willem Dafoe's in it as an NBC executive who's kind of a villain, as you might assume. He's not in it a ton, but it's not a cameo. J.K. Simmons is in this as Milton Berle. That's fun.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff in this movie. You should go see it if you get a chance. I don't know how long it'll be in theaters.
Yeah. Definitely on my list to see. I want to see it very badly.
Yeah, I might see it Monday.
Ooh,
Nice.
there you go. Good choice. I would recommend it. I would truly recommend it, especially if you're a big fan of Saturday Night Live. You know, it has been around, like I said, 50 years, longer than any of us have been alive. We've watched it. Our parents likely watched it. They may or may not admit to it, but they did, I'm sure. It's just always been there.
Yeah.
Garrett, you and I have been on the tour. We went to New
Yeah.
York when we were in college and went on the
Man.
NBC Studios tour.
Oh, yeah. We got to be.
So to see
That was
that
great.
set,
Yes.
it's just really cool to see. It's like it's television history, and it's cool. It's very cool. So that's what I've been watching this week. Let's get into some news now. Some fun news items happening. First up, let's see. Ooh, so with sequel news, we love sequels here. It's in our title. A movie that I never thought would really get a sequel, Ready or Not, is set to get one with Samara Weaving returning.
Yeah. Scream Queen.
What-
She for me is the modern day Scream Queen.
She
Is so good in all of these movies, and most of her movies are these horror movie related, and she just does a great job with them. And so I'm excited for that. I think also a lot of like streaming data plays into some of these things. I feel like Ready or Not was relatively popular when it came out, but it was super
Yeah.
like niche. Movie people would go see it and really enjoyed it, but the masses maybe not. Once it hits streaming, I feel like people found it. It's usually one that is in like whatever platform it's in. It's always in like the top trending horror. So I'm not too surprised, but we'll see how it goes.
I think it's on Max right now, and I would not be surprised if it's doing if that's not true. I would be. I think you're onto something with that.
That definitely would make some sense to me. Because that's a 2019 movie, I believe, is when it came out.
19, maybe 18 at the
I think
earliest.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. So if for anyone who hadn't seen it, I won't spoil the movie, but it's essentially about a woman who marries into more than she expects when she finds out that part of the ritual of joining this family involves a deadly game of hide and seek. I don't know how you do that again,
Yeah, I don't know how does that work.
but I didn't know how they would do Smile again, and they did that. So
Yeah.
Well, Smile, I felt like that really easily lended itself because this demon just keeps passing on, and we see it pass on. I think at the end of the last Smile to the next person. But this I don't know. She marries into a new family, and they have the exact same weird ritual.
Freeze
that
tag
would
this time.
be
Yeah.
terrible luck.
Freeze tag.
Just the worst kind of luck.
It's cartoon tag. You get tagged to turn
Right.
into a cartoon.
Looks like
Uh,
Hey Scoob.
Do you guys ever play weird versions of freeze tag like that?
Oh, yeah.
What?
I never knew that. That was fun.
A version of freeze tag where you became a character?
Yeah, like
Cartoon.
so there's there were, if you get tagged, you have to stand in place and you have to be a cartoon character until you get tagged again. So, you have to stand there and be like, "Yabba dabba do,"
The
or,
90s were
you know,
crazy.
United good. And there was also like toilet tag. You had to pretend to be a toilet till someone came by and flushed you.
That one I didn't do.
What? Now, see, David went to school at Arkansas, and I expect that from him, but I don't know what Garrett's excuse is.
I never played toilet tag.
I don't know about toilet tag.
I don't think I played toilet tag, but I heard about it.
I don't know about it could just be I don't
Toilet tag
remember it, but
sounds like something that we need to Urban Dictionary too.
what do you do? Did you, like, you hold your arm out
Yeah,
and
you
then
saw
someone
that
got
you have
flush you?
you have a flush. I don't know. Like I said, I never played toilet tag, but
I'll be
I could.
Googling this.
But I feel like I heard about it being played. I was always a bigger fan
Oh.
of cartoon tag because it was a great way to work in my impressions.
I don't know. I guess at my school, just regular tag was all we needed.
Yeah, I didn't have a PlayStation until I was 13, so I had to make up a lot of fun.
That's fair. That's fair. Speaking of outdated technology,
That was a good transition. I was wondering how you were going to get back on track.
Alien Romulus is coming out on all platforms December, I think it said 3rd. I'll double check. But the most important platform it's coming out on is VHS.
Incredible.
Celebrates 45th anniversary of the Alien franchise. The studio is going to release a limited edition VHS copy, fully functional, the press release says, copy of Alien Romulus. You could fire up that old VCR or hit up a thrift store, I guess, and find one.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah.
can watch this in glorious 4:3.
I feel like VHS is coming back in
Incredible.
in a weird way. Not like fully scale yet, but I definitely think that is the collector's item aspect of it. My fiance's sister is a VHS collector and has a ton of them. And so I feel like this is one that she's really going to like. And I like the fact that they do that. It is kind of a technology of the time. Everything, even a DVD, like you still have like things that are disc. It's not neat, but a VHS is neat. It's kind of like when
Mhm.
vinyl came back.
Yes, that's kinda what I think. It's like there's no there's no real, qualitative difference why you should buy a VHS tape. I mean, obviously, the quality is poor, but it's that cool collector's item thing you talk about.
Uh,
And we hit a point of, like, we hit peak saturation of home video to where even while DVDs or while Blu-rays were still popular, they were not putting any special features on them anymore. They would throw on a trailer maybe,
mhm.
and that's all you got.
Yeah.
When they used to be so nice, and I feel like we're almost looping back around because they started and it was like, "Oh, you gotta get the DVD because they got special features." And then it got into nothing, and now we're back to, like, now they're gonna have to make physical releases cool again to make
Mhm.
us buy them. Make physical releases cool again.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I remember VHS. I mean, I would love to collect VHSs again. I don't have a player right now, but
They'll start making them if people start making VHSs. It's a
the
cycle.
TV the
Supply and
TV
demand.
VHS combo is so easy to make. It's so easy to bring back. But I love, I miss the static, the phone, the fuzz of the TV as it would boot up, and the warmness of it. Um, and the thing about VHS that I really loved as a kid compared to DVDs or Blu-rays was just how real it made the film seem or the video seem. Because I remember every now and then my video would get ruined. I would play it too much. I would do something, it'd get eaten up, right? And so then, I could pull out the film and then you could hold it up and you could look and see the individual frames of the movie. And you could it was like actually there in front of you, as
Mhm.
opposed to the DVD or the Blu-ray or the CD where you get these things and it's just like, oh, it's just a disc. It's just there's nothing here. But I loved being able to like pull out the Lion King and see like, hey, look, here's this part, awesome. Anyway.
Yep, it's fun. I don't have a VHS or can't believe I almost said VHS player. It's a VCR, people.
Yeah.
Don't call it a VHS player.
Yeah.
I hear that sometimes, and I'm like, it already has a name.
Mm,
You didn't have to make another one.
yes.
So I don't have one, but I kind of want to get it. I don't know. They haven't
But
announced pricing details or where exactly you can buy it yet. So
quick
you'll have to Google that.
quick quiz, boys. What does VCR stand for?
I
Video
assume
cassette
video
recorder.
cassette recorder.
Yeah, which is interesting.
It is.
Video cassette recorder, but what does VHS stand for?
Video
I don't know.
something system.
It is video home system,
Ah.
which
Oh.
sounds like what the VCR should be named, doesn't it? The video
It
home
does
system.
feel like it should be
And it should be like
well.
it should be a video. It should be a what was VCR again? It should be video cassette
VHR.
recording, and it should be video home system. It feels
Wow.
like they were backwards, but that
Nobody
always
asked
cracked me
us.
up as a kid
That's funny.
or as a young
Interesting.
teen. Anyway,
We'll get into our last bit of news for the week, and this is a fun one because it's getting us into a future season here.
Mhm.
Back in the summer, we interviewed the amazing Tulsa actress Samantha Isler
Mhm.
about her new movie Breakup Season, and we just got word this week via a new Variety report that Breakup Season has been picked up for distribution.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm excited to see that they've leaned into the Christmas of it all.
yes.
We kinda talked about, was it a Christmas movie, was it not? And the Variety headline is Christmas Dramedy Breakup Season lands distribution from Buffalo 8 and releases first trailer. So this is going to have a limited theatrical release beginning November 15th in select cities, including Los Angeles, Portland, Oklahoma City, and Tulsa, as well as some others. So that's very exciting for us. We'll get the
Yeah.
chance to go see it in theaters here. Please do that. Go back and listen to our review. We will post it and share it again as the release date gets closer so that people can go back and listen to our review with Samantha
Mhm.
about the movie, what went into making it, got her into acting, and just what she loves about being an actor who can do that while living in Tulsa. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
And a really fun movie.
Yes,
And to
it
throw this
was.
out there as well, after it does its theatrical run, it will appear on, according to this, major streaming
VHS.
services. It will appear everywhere on December 6th. It's streaming probably, I would assume, Prime and all those.
Yes, I'm very excited about that. That should be fun. I'm sure it will get a run here at our local Circle Cinema again, and you guys should go watch it. It's well, I almost said it's a fun Christmas movie. It's not a fun Christmas movie,
It's a
but like
good Christmas movie.
I have fond memories of watching it over the
Yes.
years. So that's
Yeah,
all.
and
I
it
can
won.
say.
Hey, and it did awesome on the festival circuit, winning
It
like
did.
20, 30 awards.
It did. It did well. Congratulations to all of our friends at Breakup Season. That's super exciting. Okay, let's start to wrap things up here. David, what's our box office report of the week?
Well, number one for the week is Smile 2. It's the movie you guys got to go see, and that brought in 23 million over the weekend. A pretty good haul for, pre-Halloween horror film. Probably will do really well over the next several days. At number two spot, The Wild Robot is hanging in there with 10.1 million, just dropping 28%. That's good alternative programming. When you look at the movies surrounding The Wild Robot, it's great alternative programming because you have Smile
Yeah.
2 at the top, then Wild Robot. Terrifier 3 continues to
Yeah.
do well in the number 3 spot with 9.3 million. Either of you guys seen Terrifier 3?
No, but I almost watched the first Terrifier, but the trailer was really bad, and I didn't wanna commit to it because then I felt like I'd have to sit down and watch 2 to get to 3, and I
Yeah.
just didn't wanna do that.
And then at number 4, we have Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice bringing $5 million in its 7th weekend. And at number 5 is the debuting We Live in Time, which brought in 4.1 million. This is the new A24, I'm guessing, sad romance starring Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. So that is your top 5 for
You're muted,
October
Josh.
20th, 2024.
See, I mute myself so that I won't do that, and it helps because then someone stops me and I could say it in free air. I want to see that Andrew Garfield
Mhm.
Florence Pugh movie, but I fear it will destroy me.
Mhm.
Probably. I'm
It
afraid of
looks
that. I'm
deeply
afraid
sad.
I'm afraid of the merry-go-round horse.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm also afraid I'll fall in love with both of them.
Yes, and the horse. And
All three of them.
if the popcorn bucket isn't the horse's head upside down, I mean, what was
What
the
is the
point?
We're in Time popcorn bucket?
Gotta be
Man.
that. It's gotta be that.
Got to be a merry-go-round with just goes
All
around the
right.
popcorn.
That's I love it. Okay, we've got a few more themes or a couple more themes coming up to wrap out the year with you guys. Halloween's almost here, so we got so many scares still left to go. But then after that, we're gonna spend November partying like it's 1999. Maybe that's what we should have done, something like that.
Mhm.
Part of
Still
it.
not too late.
It's not too late. It's still October. We might continue to workshop it live on the show.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be talking about the movies of 1999. Here pretty soon, we will announce what those picks will be. So be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for that. Or So Many Sequels in your podcasting app.
Mhm.
And check us out on Instagram at So Many Sequels Pod. We will be posting there when they're announced as well. So all kinds of ways for you to find out. We did hit our Stone Cold
What?
bowl of 316.
I did not know that. This is both
Yes,
exciting
surprise,
and
surprise.
upsetting as per the promises we've
I
made.
know, because we have to move on, and I don't remember what promise you made, actually.
We
What was
we
it?
said we would do the last so many scares in
Oh,
costume, and I only
that's
have mine
right.
right here.
Well,
Y'all see that?
okay, I'll find something. I'll get it together.
We gotta tell
Um
the people what our last so many scares is too. We told them, we tricked them
Oh,
earlier.
you're
We
right.
told we promised a treat, so we should do that.
Mhm.
You're right. I totally forgot about the tease. So we asked you guys to vote on our Instagram page at So Many Sequels Pod. Be sure you follow us there. We'll be posting polls for our fan picks there, as well as all the other fun stuff we do. But we had, I don't remember what the count was. I think it was 16 total movies that we narrowed down through 4 polls that went down to a final poll. And we ended up with the winner, which is 1 Hour Photo,
Mhm.
the 2002 movie
Mhm.
starring Robin Williams, the late great Robin Williams. So we'll be watching that and talking about it later this week.
Yay!
Yay!
That's how we feel about it. No, it's a thriller for sure. Well, I think this is a good discussion about, is it a horror movie?
Yeah.
Yes, there will have plenty to talk about. So again, subscribe, YouTube, So Many Sequels, or in your podcasting app, and then at So Many Sequels Pod on Instagram. We'll see you all next time.